Good morning. It is Tuesday, which means 5K interval day. Back on the early morning pain train. Good news, bad news. So good news is last night we won our baseball game, which means we were fall baseball champions. Bad news is that means that put me into bed much later than I normally would on a Monday night, meaning the 4:15 wake up call this morning came a little bit extra early. But that's all right. Once I get out on the course, once I strap on the headphones and get going, it'll be all the same. Last couple of weeks, we've done the F5 version of the 5K interval run, which means stopping every half mile for 30 mountain climbers, 30 burpees or 30 push-ups. So that's what I will be after again this morning. Run time the last couple of weeks has been hovering right around 22 minutes. So that'll be the benchmark for this week. It is nice and crisp and clean out this morning, about 50 degrees, which should make for a good run. So I will be back out on the course to keep you updated. See you soon.
Diamonds on my neck, gold in my girl, and diamonds on my neck, gold in my girl, and diamonds on my neck, gold in my girl, and I'm riding with a tech. Holla at the plug, cause the diamonds on my neck, gold in my girl, and I'm riding with a tech. Holla at the plug, cause the diamonds on my neck, gold in my girl, and I'm riding with a tech. Gold in my girl, I gotta holla at the plug, 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 girl, I'm riding with a tech, holla at the plug.
All right, team, 5K interval run is done. My time this week was not as good as it has been the last couple of weeks. I think in week one, I was 22:20 something. Last week I was 22:07, and this week I was back up in the 22:30s. I just didn't have the same energy or physical force today, but that was kind of to be expected. And that's fine. Some days you're gonna have it, and you push as hard as you can to set new personal records and raise the bar. Other days you're not gonna have it, you're not gonna be feeling it, but you still show up and put forth the best effort. And I think it's often on those days that you grow even more. Plus, I find some personal satisfaction in knowing that I was up this morning at 4:15 for a double workout. So speaking to that, I'm gonna head back over here right now for my boot camp workout, and then I'll be back a little bit later for the finisher. See you then.
Gold in my girl, and I'm riding with a tech. Be the gold in my girl. Holla at the plug, 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 holla at the plug.
All right, this morning workouts are done. Today's StoryAthlete Principle is I execute to become formidable. And I think this is a very timely and applicable principle for today. We were having this conversation inside of our group chat yesterday for our unit. One of our team members mentioned to the group that while he had no thoughts of quitting or slowing down, he wasn't feeling nearly as engaged or motivated this month as he had in months past with September and October. And I told him that I wasn't gonna say anything because I thought maybe I was the only one, but I actually feel the exact same way. The novelty of what this grit has become has officially worn off. Obviously, I'm gonna continue to show up because this is a lifestyle, this is a way of being that I have chosen, but it is not nearly as exciting as it once was. But I think that's the point. I think that's quite apropos, and it's actually a microcosm of life, really. Because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten to the point where I'm extremely jazzed up about something, where I'm really motivated and gung-ho, and I get about 60 to 70 days down the road, and the shine starts to wear off. And so I stop, I pivot, I start over with something else, and I'm not able to generate the momentum that I need and actually to change my life. And so we were talking about this. I mentioned that I think it was Gary Keller that said that the reason that people don't get to the levels, don't reach the levels they want in life is because they bore far too easily with the monotony that mastery requires. And so if you look at the grit diagram with the circle and you realize that those of us who have been doing the grit regimen since day one in September are only at 80 days. And while 80 days, 80 straight days of working out is quite impressive, particularly when you account for the fact that many people struggle to get to the gym once or twice a week, 80 days in a row is pretty damn impressive. But in the grand scheme of things, we haven't even reached the tipping point. You know, it's gonna take at least 180 days, 270 days, maybe even 365 days before we feel that momentum where the results themselves are starting to actually keep pace with or outstrip the pace of our effort. And so until we get there, we're stuck in that quicksand, that middle ground where motivation is really tough. But you know what? It's in that time that you commit and declare who you are. And as a story athlete, I know that I show up every single day and I execute. And when I show up and execute, I am becoming harder to kill, and I am becoming a tough motherfucker to knock out of the game of life and the game of business. So that's what this is all about. That's a wrap on day 16 of Grit, day 80, Story Athlete Fitness. See you tomorrow for kettlebells.